I'm trying to sleep, but I genuinely can't stop laughing about these stories. I've told these before, and then I've told them with my friend Era, and I'm gonna see her next week, so I'm gonna get her to be in the story. But I was just thinking about the stupid shit I would do in school, and like, now that I think about it, what an annoying child. I remember once in year 9, the coordinator had brought in a box of chocolates and said, oh, at the end of the class, like, give this to your students. So our teacher, like our math teacher, she's like, oh, whatever, like, yeah, she left it at the table, and every time she'd turn around, me and my friend Era would go, I think it was Raw too, we would go and like, we'd steal a little chocolate and like eat it and go back to the table. And we like would continuously do this for like almost the whole lesson. I had this problem where I couldn't stop talking, like, even if a teacher told me to stop talking, like, I couldn't help myself. Like, I know people find it annoying when people don't stop talking. Like, I literally couldn't help myself. I had to keep talking. So the teacher got mad at the class and she made us all be quiet. My teacher, like, made us be silent, but I really wanted to tell Erimide something, so I wrote it down on a piece of paper and I folded it up and I passed it to Erimide. But of course, the teacher fucking caught me passing the paper. Like, you know, just the worst feeling in the world when you see them see it. And she just gonna get the paper. So she comes and she goes, give me that, and she takes the paper. I was thinking, oh, fuck, here we... She opens the paper and she... and it says, I've written Sarah, what if she smells the chocolate on our breath? Because she was mad at the class, I was like scared that what if she also smelled the chocolate on our breath? So then she was even more mad. She looks at it and she goes, oh, and she turns around, she takes the chocolate tub and she takes it back to the coordinator. And I'm telling you, we were piecing ourselves laughing. Like, it was bad, like, yes, but it's just like, what are the chances of outing yourself like that through a note? Another time during a test, this is bad, this was like in year 10, during a test I was trying to this is what's wrong with me, I can't help myself, I have to talk, I'm so fucking annoying. It was in year 10 and I really wanted to pass Erimide a note. It was in the middle of a fucking exam. I had a tissue box and I wrote on the tissue with an orange pen. I don't know, it was something about the teacher in the class because it was like a sub teacher. She was like this white lady who was a bit mean, and I like put it in the tissue box. And then I was like to Era, like Era was on the other side of the class, it was like silent, and I was like to her, like telling her, like, ask for the tissue box, and she goes like, oh miss, can I have the tissue box? So the teacher picked up the box and took it to Erimide. Gets the tissue box. This girl was not slick, bro. I can still see it in my head. Like, the teacher's standing behind her. Erimide pulls out the tissue and I don't think she saw what was happening. She opened it like this and she's looking like and she realizes it's got orange writing all over. I don't even remember what it said, but I don't think she knew there was going to be writing. So she like opened the tissue because she didn't understand what else to do, and she just noticed it. And then she realized the teacher was behind her. So I just see this, put it on her face and like started to blow her nose in the note. She didn't even get to read it. But the teacher was behind her, like, as if the teacher didn't see her pull out the tissue with orange writing. That just reminded me of one more story. Okay, Mr. Barker, this was a crazy man, okay? He was like our school's vice principal for a bit, then he was randomly teaching us in year 8 math. And I remember one day I left early and apparently he went onto this rant that started from us failing a math test to us living in a garbage bin. Everyone was like, yeah, somehow he connected us failing a math test in year 9 to living in a rubbish bin in the future. Anyway, one time he was really mad at the class and he got us to all write a note about our favorite thing of the year, even though he was mad at us. It was like the end of the term, and I think he was saying like, oh, my favorite thing would be nothing. Like, he just kind of went on a rant. Anyways, Erimide wrote it on white paper in yellow highlight. You can just imagine what yellow highlighter looks like. God, who the fuck writes on white paper in yellow highlighter, you know? Anyways, he was mad, he was ranting. She gave it to him, like everyone was handing this in. I'm sorry. He got his and he's like, oh, can't even read this. I don't know. It was, okay, see, I'm not even laughing after. When I get it out, it's not even funny. The idea that there was like this old angry man and then he just got so humbled by the paper being like yellow highlighted and me like, oh, can't even read this. And we all just started pissing ourselves. Like, school was so fun. Like, and then I said like once, like, I miss high school. Like, it's like the best environment. Someone's like, oh my God. Like, obviously high school's fucking shit. There's so much shit stuff, but like, don't act like you don't piss yourself dying with your friends like most days. Like, it was a funny time.
To tell y'all a story time of the weirdest fucking girl I've ever met in my entire life. This girl was the biggest hater of me for some reason. I don't know what I did to her. I don't know if I committed first degree murder on her entire bloodline, that this girl has always had this weird energy with me, or maybe she's just like a lifelong hater of everyone. And in that case, my apologies, friend. Get it together, please, for your own sake. Listen to this shit, okay? So in high school, She was always really weird with me. And then there was this one time, my best friends went to my middle school and they were talking to all like the teachers and whatever. And one of the teachers made a little comment to them, basically saying, Sahar seems like she's really friendly with all the boys. Basically calling me a slut, okay? Basically saying that he's hearing that I'm a slut. And I'm like, who the fuck could this be? Who is this that would go to my middle school teacher and be like, oh, like Sahar's a slut? And I was in the washroom, all right? And I was talking to this one girl and I was like, oh, you know what's super weird? Someone like told Mr. Blank that I'm like a slut or something. Isn't that weird? And then she's like, oh really? Like who would do that? And then she like stormed out of the bathroom. And then it clicked for me. This bitch had been volunteering at the fucking school under this teacher in specific, who really had the nerve to be talking shit about me, trying to call me a slut or whatever, to my 6th grade teacher. And then flash forward to like last week, all right? And posting about, I'm like, oh my God, like I said I wasn't gonna travel for the rest of the, like for a little bit, and now I'm booking another trip because with what I do, guess what? Traveling is a thing, okay? Social media people, surprise, we travel. She has the nerve to respond to my story being like, that ecological footprint though. Sorry, I didn't fucking realize I was talking to Mother Nature herself. And I'm just so confused because I'm like, this girl, you work at a electronics shop. That ecological footprint, let's talk about that, because they're probably throwing out phones and shit left and right. I don't really know what these stores do, but regardless, I'm like, what are you doing that is so pro-economy that you feel so entitled to tell me about me and my ecological footprint, okay? I recycle more than anybody I know. I'm literally a hoarder because I'm scared of throwing things out because I don't like wasting things, okay? Beyond the point, I was poor my entire life. I only traveled one time up until I was like 21, so leave me alone. Let me do my thing. Hater back then, hater now. It just made no sense to me. I did unfollow her right after that because I was like, this is hater behavior. My brother was mean to her when we saw her in person. I felt bad for her. Turns out she deserved it.
Is it just me, or in weird situations do other girls pretend to be lesbians to get men to leave them alone? Like the other day I was going to the beach, and I will tell you what I'm wearing first of all, before anyone's like, me, well, you was wearing this, you was wearing that. I had linen trousers, I had a bikini on underneath, and I had a white top on, just a tank, not a tank top, just like the Primark white tops, you know, it's just like the straps, and then it just goes down. Just a normal top, covered all of me. Now I've got my hair up like this, I'm tanned, I'm sat at the bus stop just waiting, and this foreign guy sits next to me. And bless his heart, okay, he was friendly and he did make me laugh, but it did get a little bit weird. So I was sat there and he has like these, you know, those skiing glasses on. He had those on, you know, the ones that boys think are cool but are a little bit fruity. Anyways, he like sits on the bed, like opposite, or not opposite bench. We've got new bus stops, so we've got like bench. He sits on that bench, I'm on this bench. And he says, can you help me with something? And so obviously as a good Samaritan or person, I'm like, yeah, of course. So I say, what do you need help with? And he said, oh, like, my English, can you help me with my English? Can you add me on Snapchat so that we can talk and I can practice my English? And I said to him, I said, oh no, your English seems perfectly fine, like it's okay. And he starts going on this whole, I think he was Ukrainian, I worked out, we did a guessing game. And I'm nice in these situations purely because what happened to me on the bus. Going silent does not work, guys. Anyways, so I just was like, you know what, I'll take control of the situation. I'll just carry on the conversation. And he's like, and I'm gonna quote what he said. Hold on. You are so fucking beautiful! I'm sat there. Oh, I mean, thank you. Honestly, I'm flattered, thank you. But I am talking to somebody and you look about 10 years older than me. And so I laugh and I say, thank you, I'm 16. And he said, no, it's fine, doesn't matter, I don't care. I don't give a single fuck. And so I'm like, okay, trying to catch a case, are we, huh? Trying to catch a little case. Anyways, so we carry on like talking, and I keep saying, I'm 16. And like, I'm finding this very, very funny because I've been taken back by the powerful "you're so beautiful" with the full-on accent. I was honestly sat there in absolute disbelief. And he goes, do you have a boyfriend? I don't know why the first thought in my head after I've told him I don't want to speak to him on Snapchat and that I'm 16 was to say I'm a lesbian, because that took a turn for the worse. Because obviously guys have a weird fetish for lesbians that I did not really think was real in public, or people had the bollocks to ask about it. Anyways, so I say, oh, I'm a lesbian. I'm lesbian, I'm gay, and I like women. Instantly his eyes I could see it through the glasses, they lit up, eyebrows raised. Yeah, like that, as if he had just had a wet dream. He was like, oh, you like women? I was like, today I do, yeah. Not my normal thing, but sure, we'll go with it. I like women. I know nothing about lesbians except my sister is one, so I was using all the knowledge I had from that in this situation. And God forbid, why did I say I was a lesbian? Because the questions I was asked I was not prepared to answer. So obviously, he did not care I was a lesbian. Oh, he did not. First things first, if I put a wig on, could we shag? You have known me for 5 minutes, we are sat at the bus stop, you are clearly older than me, I'm a lesbian now, and you want to shag me if you wear a wig. Like, honestly, I have the weirdest one-off experiences, and I was very, very confused. And so I said, oh, no, that's not how it works. And he laughed, and then I laughed, and he said, see, I can make beautiful women laugh. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, with some really weird questions. And so I'm still laughing, kind of uncomfortably, but also I found it hilarious. And he was like, see, try me, have time with me, okay? No. And I'm very, very confused still, because I'm like, 16, don't want to talk to you on Snapchat, your English is perfectly fine, I'm a lesbian, and I won't shag you with a wig on. What do you mean, try you? And he's going like, come on, try me, like, I will give you a good night, like, I'm an experienced man, you know, try me. He said, I will turn you straight. Why is that something that is said to lesbians all the time? I mean, I'm not lesbian, but I've had it said, or heard it said to lesbians. What do you mean you can turn me straight? I am straight, but today I'm a lesbian because of you, and I'm not going straight today, hell no. And so I'm like, no, I'm 16. I don't care. I have my Snapchats. And it keeps going, and then it gets to the point where he starts flexing his muscles, but not in a normal way. This man starts talking about the fight. He basically said, I went to London to meet 4 beautiful ladies, and then one of them took my phone because she wanted to sleep with me in the hotel, and then these boys came across and I went, bosh. He is doing this while we're at the bus stop, can we just bear that in mind? So I'm sat there. Okay, so you just took 2 men out to have sex with 4 beautiful ladies. Oh, aren't you a stud? And then he proceeds to get up and do some Hulk-ass impression with his sunglasses still on, by the way. Oh my fucking god. Boy, was I checking my non-existent watch for that bus to come. And I actually, at that point, decided, you know what, I'm going to turn my phone on. I do have a recording of this conversation from that point onwards, okay? So it did happen, and if you guys do want to hear it, I will put it on TikTok for you guys. Anyway, so he sits back down after flexing his muscles and showing me the fight he had, yeah? And then he goes, but I don't do dirty stuff. Like, I'm a clean guy, which is why you should have sex with me. I'm a lesbian. Today, I am a lesbian, okay? I know there's no language barrier here, my friend. There's not. And then that goes to, well, what do lesbians do? Why do you not like this? And I was like, well, just like a preference, I guess. I don't know why lesbians don't like dick. They just don't. I do. That's why I didn't know what to say. So I was like, oh, I don't know, it's just a preference. He said, well, have you tried it? And I said, no, but I'm a lesbian. I have a girlfriend. Why the fuck did I say I have a girlfriend, please? And then, of course, it turns to, well, I can be better than your girlfriend. I can be better in bed. I'm still having the time of my life with this conversation, by the way. By all means, I will not count that as harassment because I actually found it really funny. But he just kept going. He kept fucking going. And honestly, he just kept going. He said, please help me practice my English. We can go out, get some food, and we can talk. Okay, the practice my English bit was a bit of a fucking pickup line there. I'm going to leave it to you. It's Riz. It is Riz. But it did not work on me because clearly I'm 16 and you won't tell me your age. We played a guessing game. He was like, where do you think I'm from? And so first of all, I said Russia. Fucking idiot. He said, no, war. I was like, oh, Ukraine. So I guess Ukraine. He shook my hand. Physical contact. Well, hey, no. And yeah, then the bus came. And so I hopped up. Ooh, fucking hell. I hopped up, grabbed my bags, had a beach bag packed, fucking massive bag, by the way. And he says, let's talk on the bus. I said, no, I need to call my girlfriend. He said, oh, fuck off then. She won't be happy with me. She'll be intimidated. Yeah. So I sit on the bus. Now, I had an encounter the other week with a woman, okay, I don't know what it is with bus stops now, but they are getting me, where I was queuing up for the bus and this small old lady turned to me and said, "You look autistic." What? Yeah. Sorry, there is backstory behind this. It does have relevancy. She says, "You look autistic, let's talk about politician stuff on the bus." Oh my fucking god. What is with people wanting to talk to me on the bus? And first of all, the look autistic thing did make me deep my life for a couple minutes. But with that lady, she went on first, and when I sat where like the dog sit on the bus, like the seats at the very front that like aren't seats. So with this man, I sat there as well, put my bag on the other bit so he couldn't sit next to me. And then I messaged my friend. So I was meeting my friends in town and I had a feeling this man was going to get off at the same stop as me. Sent her a text. I said, "You are my girlfriend today. When I get off that fucking bus, you are my girlfriend. Play along with it and I'll explain later." And lo and behold, he did get off right behind me. And he did then take a turn, thank God. I didn't have to act like a lesbian. But yeah, I was a lesbian for a day. Well, for a couple minutes. Very interesting minutes. And to the old lady who said I look autistic and let's talk about politics on the bus, you upset me. You truthfully upset my soul. Goodbye. Get ready with me, guys, while I tell you about how I found out my best friend was talking to my brother. Me and this girl have been friends since junior year, like the starting of junior year, and we got close so fast. So one day, me and my boyfriend were low-key going through it, and I went downstairs because I blocked my boyfriend on everything, and I went downstairs to my brother's room to go call him on my brother's phone. And me and my boyfriend were in the middle of arguing, and my brother's phone kept going off. And so I'm telling you, me and my boyfriend were going at it for hours. Like literally hours. So my brother was knocked out. It was like 3 a.m. at night. It was crazy. Before I say how I found out, I just want to let you guys know that this girl has been hiding so many things from me. Like, there was so many things I would find out. Her talking to all these like different guys after she just got out of a relationship with this one guy. And I was like, "You're my best friend. Like, you're supposed to tell me everything." So like I asked her, I was like, "Is there a reason why you're not like telling me like that you're talking to these guys? Like, I'm not gonna get mad with you. Like, I just want to know why you're not telling me." And she was like, "I don't know, I just feel like you're gonna get mad at me." And I was like, "Why would I get mad at you? Like, obviously I'm not gonna tell you what you're doing is good, but I'm not gonna get mad at you." So that goes by, she apologizes and she tells me that she's sorry and that it's not gonna happen again. So I guess I let it slide. Back to my brother's phone being spammed. I'm like, who the keeps spamming him? So I wake up my brother and I'm like, "Hey, like, what's your phone password?" And he's like low-key sleepy drunk, so he's like telling me what it is. And I open it and I don't know why. But I just had this sudden urge to go through my brother's phone, and me and my boyfriend are still going at it, by the way. The first thing I see on my brother's freaking camera roll is a FaceTime picture of my best friend's face. I wanted to keep investigating more and more. Guys, my actual reaction, I was literally like looking at it. I was like, what the heck? Why does my brother have a picture of my best friend? And why is it a FaceTime picture? So after that, I found that. I go to his messages because that's where he was being spammed. I'm pretty sure you guys already know who it was that I found at the top of his messages. I'm sorry to have to do this, but go to part 2.
So I was talking to my mom the other day and I was like, "Who was your maid of honor?" Because I didn't know. And I expected her to say someone I knew. And she goes, "Oh, you don't know her?" And I'm like, "Why?" She was like, "Because I don't talk to her anymore." And I'm like, "Why not?" She goes, "I actually don't know. I have not seen her since the year after our wedding." I was like, "Tell me everything." This tea is 35 years old and it's the most piping hot tea I've ever heard. So my parents got married young. Like, my mom was 20, my dad's 23. They have this couple that are their best friends. Let's call them Patty and Dino. I don't know if that's her real name, but I think that is his real name. Patty's my mom's maid of honor. So maybe a year after they get married, they all go to Florida together. And they're staying at my grandparents' condo. So the first night they go out to a bar on the beach and they have a great time. Like, my parents remember it as like a memorable, fun night. Anyway, next morning they wake up and Patty is not talking to my mom. And although my mom thought this was weird, she didn't read too much into it because she's like, whatever, maybe everybody was just severely hungover. So that couple wasn't trying to hang out with my parents that day. So my parents said, "Fuck them, let's go to Disney." So my parents drive to Orlando. They go to Disney for a couple nights. And they get back. Patty still isn't talking to my mom. And Dino's not talking to my mom either, but Dino is talking to my dad. Patty's talking to no one. So they go to the beach. Dino and my dad are talking. No one's speaking to my mom, minus my dad. At one point, I guess my parents are like, okay, we're gonna go get lunch. Do you wanna come? And they're like, no, we're good. And by them, I mean Dino said, no, we're good, to my dad. So they go for lunch. When they get back, the second they get back, the other couple stands up and goes for lunch. So my mom's like, okay. They get back from lunch and then my parents go, okay, we're gonna go back to the condo. And Dino says to my dad, oh, we're gonna stay here for a little bit longer. My dad says, okay, I'll come pick you up at 4 o'clock at this street because it's 1989, whatever. Just meet me at this. Parents go back to the condo. My mom says to my dad, I'm gonna pick them up from the beach. And my dad's like, okay. Dad goes and takes a nap at 4 o'clock. My mom goes to the beach and they're both standing there. They see it's my mom. Without saying a word, both of them get into the back seat of the car. So my mom's now driving them around like a taxi driver. So now in her head, she's irate. She's also insane. So on the way back to my condo, there's a roundabout and she starts going in circles around the roundabout. She goes around the roundabout like 15 times because she's like, surely they will break this silence to say, what the fuck are you doing? You've been driving in circles for 10 minutes. But no, they don't say a word. So they get back to the condo and my mom literally gets out of the car and looks at them and says, pack your shit, Lou's taking you to the airport. And they start freaking out, which is hilarious. So they're freaking out. She starts crying. They're like, Christine. She's like, nope, pack everything, you're out. Goes to the room. My dad's asleep. She goes, wake up. I kicked them out of the condo. And apparently she was laughing too. My dad's like, what? And she's like, I kicked them out of the condo and you have to drive them to the airport. My dad's like, what the fuck? So he wakes up from a nap. He goes out and Dino's going, Lou, I'm sorry. Like my wife, you know, she can be like a little funny sometimes. My dad's like, yeah, sorry, man. Like if she says you gotta go, like now the wife's on the patio sobbing. She's asking my dad if she can apologize to my mom. And my mom is inside going, no, get in the fucking car. My parents take them to the airport. 1989, no flights, no phones. You're not figuring anything out till you get there. Dad leaves them there. Sorry, did I say my parents took them to the airport? I mean, my dad took them to the airport. My dad leaves them there, never saw them again. Heard through the grapevine that they got divorced a year later. Still don't know what the fuck her problem was, but the assumption, I guess, is that her husband was hitting on my mom that night or something. She was nuts, who knows? Anyway, that's the story of my mom's maid of honor. Isn't that juicy? If this gets to her, what was your problem, bitch?
Today I'm going to be telling you the story of how I lost my virginity, and boy oh boy is it an interesting story. So I didn't lose my virginity till I was like 18 or 19. I was like relatively old compared to all of my friends, and you're probably thinking like, oh my god, that's like so sweet, like she probably like waited till she met somebody that like cared about her. Yeah, no, actually quite the opposite. Basically, I was just like embarrassed slash like tired of people being like, oh my god, like Hallie's a virgin. So one night I just decided I'm gonna lose my virginity. I was visiting my friend at the University of Alabama where I knew literally nobody the night that I decided I wanted to lose my virginity. Like it's not like I had anybody in mind for this. So we go out to the bars, and if you know the University of Alabama, I was at Rounders, which that really honestly makes a lot of sense. So I meet this guy through like my friends, like whatever, and we were like vibing, and I was just like, okay, I'm gonna lose my virginity to him. Looking back, I'm like, who the fuck does that? Like that was actually a terrible, disgusting choice, but like whatever. Prior to this guy, I had literally kissed probably maybe 2 other people in my entire life. So I was just like so inexperienced, and I was like making out with him on the dance floor. After a little while, he's like, do you want to come back to my apartment with me? And I'm like, yep. Side note, I also like didn't want him to know that I was a virgin, so I was like gaslighting him the whole time to like make him think that I was like a whore. I have no idea why I did this. I just like didn't want to tell him that I was a virgin. Whatever, I won't get into the nitty gritty of everything, but we go back to his apartment, do it. It was not good. Like, not good at all for reasons I won't even dive into. And like, granted, obviously, like, I was inexperienced. Like, I had never had sex before, but like, it wasn't even my fault of why it was bad. It was fully him. Like, he was just really, really bad. Anyway, so right after we're done, I'm like, ugh, like, he really icked me out. And I was like, I do not want to stay here with you. Like, I literally actually cannot. I was also drunk. I was like, I just want to go back to my friend who I'm staying with's apartment. So he takes me back, and in order to enter into her apartment, there's like a gate code, and it's like a huge, like really, really, really tall gate, like 10 feet tall. So he's like, I'm pretty sure the code to get in is 3333. Like, let me try it. And literally I go, are you fucking dumb? Like, why would the code be 3333? That's so easy. Like, you're actually an idiot. Like, no. I am in a mini skirt. I literally hop out of this man's car and I go scale the fucking 10-foot fence, okay? He watches me do all of this. Like, I fall over the fence, vagina out. Oh my god, I couldn't have looked worse. My friend lived on the 5th story of this building. I literally ran over to under her apartment and I'm screaming. I'm like, let me in! It's like 3 a.m. She finally wakes up and comes outside. She's like, why do you look so bad? I'm like, oh my god, because I just had to scale your fucking gate because this idiot thought your gate code was 3333. And she just looks at me and she goes, Hallie, that is the gate code. I was like, okay, period. And after that day, I have never seen or spoken to the man who took my virginity ever again. I'm fully fine with this, but moral of the story, don't be an idiot like me and just like wait till you meet somebody nice. I don't know.
Story time on how I found out my ex-boyfriend was cheating on me with a guy. I also have some caramel coffee. This is the best, like the best. It started last year in February when I was 13. My boyfriend was 2 years older than me, and we're gonna call him Ben. In February, me and him had been together for like 5 months, I think. We would do like everything together, nothing sexual though. And then just like, he started to become like cold towards me, and I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, are you okay? Like, did something happen? Did I do something? And he was like, no, you did nothing, I'm just busy. And of course I asked like, oh, what are you busy with? Can I help? Like, because I'm a helping person. And he was like, I'm busy with football. And I'm like, I'm thinking like, you don't even go with football anymore. But I just pushed that thought away because maybe start it again. Then it got like a week and he didn't say a word to me. He didn't say a word to me. And he just like ignored my calls and everything. So I was like, okay. So I texted his best friend and asked if there's something wrong with him. And like what he's doing now, if like he's with him or something. And his best friend said, oh no, Ben's with, we're gonna call her, like, we're just gonna call her Jessica. Oh yeah, Ben's with Jessica and they're studying. And I thought he was cheating on me with Jessica. So I went over to his house and found them two just studying. And I was like, oh, hi. Like, embarrassing. Then it went like, we started talking again, of course, after that misunderstanding. And like everything, and that was just like fine after that. Till it's June. And he was going out with his friends and a couple of girls. And they were gonna get drunk. So I was like, oh, just stay safe, you know, like that. Then the next day, I got a video from my best friend from that party. And it was my boyfriend making out with a guy. With a fucking guy.
Okay guys, like I have the craziest friendship experience story time that I just like have been holding for years, and it just came to my attention that this is like happening to more people from these people. So now I'm just like, okay, it's my time. I'm obviously not going to say names or anything. I'm just going to call them thing 1, thing 2. They're twin sisters. That's pretty much all you need to know to put the pieces together here. But like, have you guys been friends with like people that just like lie about like anything and everything? Well, yeah, like now take that, times it by 1,000,000. Like think like pretends they have cancer level. Yeah. And like, I'm not going to talk about like other people's experiences necessarily, but like, let's just say like they've done things like this before. And there's so many red flags, and honestly, I feel like so stupid because I was just trying to see the good in them. Like, they seemed like super nice people when I met them, and I just should have known. Like, anyways. So start off with them like lying about like random stuff. Like, they graduated early, they went to like McGill, and their mom is like the head of cancer care, and this and that, like all these things that are easy enough to fact check and like see that that is not true, obviously. But this is where it really happened and became like personal and actually affected me emotionally. So we booked a trip to Calgary Stampede. We'd only been friends for probably like 2 or 3 months at this point. But we're like, like they're down for things, I'm down for things, like let's book this trip. And there's 5 of us going, so it's me, my friend, them 2, and their friend. And like the hard part about it is because like unless you experienced it personally, like you will never understand this truly. But now that I know other people have experienced it like firsthand, it like makes me feel like I can actually share this and not feel like crazy. So pretty much the very first night that we get to Stampede, one of them is in the room with us, one of them is in a different room getting ready, and the one in the room with us just starts crying and saying how she like pretty much is gonna die, and she has lung cancer and is on a lung transplant list, and that she's been in and out of the hospital for the last like month or something without us knowing. And like, first of all, these girls are the biggest attention seekers ever. If there was actually something happening where they had to go to the hospital, they would be telling everybody and anybody about it. So I already know this isn't true. Plus, if you're on a lung transplant list, you are not at Calgary Stampede drinking and partying. Never mind like smoking or like anything like that. So anyways, I'm not believing it. My friend's not believing it. We're kind of like laughing about it because like, not to be mean or anything, but we're just like, we don't believe you. A little background where how this makes this personal to me. This summer, my grandpa had actually been dying of cancer the entire summer and passed away actually a month after this happened. But yeah, I was watching him die all summer. So like talking about cancer and like making like a lie about it is just something that's so wrong in so many ways, but it was just especially personal to me. And my other grandpa died when I was younger from lung cancer, and we found out he had lung cancer because he collapsed. And so I kind of bring this up. I'm like, girl, like, you don't have lung cancer. You're definitely not on a lung transplant list, because like if you actually did, you wouldn't be here, and like you wouldn't be able to party, because like my grandpa collapsed when he had lung cancer because he couldn't breathe, this and that. So keep in mind that I did share this story with them. So I couldn't be around them anymore, so I let like thing 1 go out alone, and thing 2 stayed with us. And me and my friend were kind of like talking to her like, girl, like, is this for real? Because like there's always 2 of them together, we rarely have one of them separate. And she's kind of like telling us like, yeah, she like kind of lies a lot, and like she is like kind of a problem, and she like hurts a lot of our friendship. And so her own sister is telling us like, this girl does lie, like, and I just get dragged into it. And then later that night, we get a call from the friend that went with thing 1, and is like, guys, you have to come to the staircase right now. There's like an emergency. We run into the staircase, and there is thing 1 laid out, passed out in the stairwell, pretending that she's unconscious. And I asked the friend, like, how much did she have to drink? Because like that was like where my mind went first, was like, oh, maybe she drank too much, and this was like whatever. But she was like, she didn't really drink much. So I'm like, okay, like maybe she got roofied or something. So regardless, I was like, we're gonna call 911, okay? So I'm like, boop, boop, okay, I'm calling. And then she like magically awakens, and it's like, oh, I'm alive. Super dramatic, may I add. And she's like, my lung, like, I need my medicine. And her sister goes and grabs the bronchitis puffer that they had from when they had bronchitis like a week earlier, that they were still both having, like they were both coughing like weird, which they were trying to play it off as like the lung cancer, but it was because they have bronchitis. Anyways, so then I like put all of the pieces together, and I was like, oh my god, she's trying to pretend like to pass out to try and make this more believable, that like, because this is what happened to my grandpa when he found out he had lung cancer. And that's when I was like, these people are evil. Okay, well, safe to say I was not friends with them after that experience, and they kind of apologized after for other things, but not for that specific thing. But yeah, the rest of Stampede was horrible. It was just not good. To this day, it was like the biggest waste of my money and time that I've ever had in my life. But whatever. So I got back home, and I wrote out this entire notes thing, which I'm sure I could probably find somewhere still. It had all the receipts of like everything, all their lies, everything they've ever said, like everything. And at the end, because I was like, okay, I honestly think that someone should just tell them these things, because if I was this psychotic and delusional, I would want someone to just tell me. And at the very end, I said, if I hear anything about me come out of your mouths, I will make sure this was like spread around. Like, people will hear about this. And the only reason I said that is because every close friend they've ever had in the past, they have spread the craziest, weirdest, like actually horrible lies about, like very controversial, which I'm not going to get into. And like that, I respect those people a lot, because they really went through it. And obviously all that part of it was taken out if I were to share it with anybody. But whatever, I sent it to them, never heard anything back again. Honestly, never really saw them again. A week later, I hear, oh, actually, we stopped being friends with her because she just got super jealous of us at Stampede because we're getting all the male attention over her. And I just, like, couldn't help but laugh, because I was like, you couldn't have thought of anything else, like, anything, like, maybe believable. So after that, I was like, you know what? Screw it. And I, like, made a private story with a bunch of, like, my close girlfriends, and I was like, here you go, guys. Eat this up. And honestly, it was, like, a PSA to, like, my close friends. Like, do not fall for this trap of a friendship, because it's not worth it. Well, last weekend, it's been, like, years, and I'm, like, completely over it now. But these 2 people came up, and they're like, hey, so you're friends with the twins, right? And I was like, I haven't heard this in forever. But I was like, yeah, actually, I was. They're like, well, you wouldn't believe what happened to us. And I was like, baby girl, let me believe you. I, like, whatever you say, I already believe you. And almost word for word, what they did to me, they did to them, including, like, pretending cancer. Like, I don't think they had it this time, but, like, their mom did or something. Just bizarre. Like, crazy. So, needless to say, we're gonna start, like, a little trauma support group over this, because seriously, like, this is nuts. But yeah, if this also happened to you, like, let's all be friends and let's get drinks and talk about this, because what the heck. Anyways, peace and love, guys. That's just like, I can't believe I'm bringing this up after all this time. But like, I actually just like, I think it's the funniest thing. They've not learned their lesson at all. So whatever. Bye.
Hey guys, I'm gonna do a cruise relationship story time. Okay, so it's for my birthday. We get onto the cruise, we board, and we have fun the whole day. And then I decide I'm making friends and I'm getting a boyfriend or something. I'm gonna have a cruise fling. So I go to the hot tub, of course. There's the teen club, but if you really want to get people, go at night to the hot tub and you're gonna meet a lot of teenagers. So obviously I'm in the hot tub and they all think that I'm like a little older, a lot older than I actually am, because I was like all dressed up and did my makeup for my birthday. And then I look over and this guy's getting in and I'm like kind of eyeballing him, like he's kind of cute. And there was like, okay, there was 30 people in this hot tub. Like there was a lot of people in this hot tub. And so it's me, the girl I literally met 10 minutes before this, and then him and his friend and his brother. And so I'm like talking to him over this girl and she's like talking to like one of his friends or whatever. And we're like hitting it off. And so all like the other people go to like watch them switch out the sign on the elevator at 12. But me, my friend, him, his friend, and his brother all stayed. Oh my gosh, and these two twins, they were so fun. They were boys. And so we're just hanging out in the hot tub and it's my birthday. So I went and got the cake that the cruise ship gave me. And I brought it back. It was like chocolate cake and me and my family were not going to eat all of that. So I brought it back and they all tore it up. It was so fun. And it's probably like 2 o'clock at this point, 2 or 3. No, I'd say 2. And so we're just sitting in the hot tub, like talking to each other. And at this point, I'm into him, you know what I'm saying? And I get the vibe that he's into me, but I'm not really sure yet. And I have Riz, but like, I don't know. And so then we moved to like another hot tub, the adult one, and we get in there because they closed the one that we were in. And so we're just hanging out, like playing pool games and stuff. That was so fun. And like we all had the unlimited drink package, so it's like mocktails and stuff. And so I had a lot of those. And then they had Red Bulls and stuff with the package. So I had like 3 Red Bulls that night. So we're playing these pool games, all of this, and like he's like slightly touchy, but like not like super touchy. So I'm like, okay, I think he likes me. And I think we went downstairs to get waters, like to the actual like promenade area to get waters, just me and him, and that was fun. It was like the first time we hung out like one-on-one, and I could tell that the vibe was there. So then the next day, me and him, just me and him, went to meet up at Starbucks because Starbucks was also free. Amazing. Anyway, so we met up at Starbucks at 6 o'clock in the morning and we got some Starbucks. Then we went and got some breakfast. And at this point, I'm getting the vibe that like we're gonna be a thing.
Hi besties, today I'm going to be telling you about the mustiest man I've ever been with because I was just using some soap and it reminded me of him because I never saw him use soap ever in the entire time we were talking or having a relationship. I'll tell you about it because it still concerns me to this day and I hope that he got the proper help or hygiene knowledge that he needed. Let's just get started. So first things first red flag that I definitely didn't like pay attention to. The first time I walked into his house and went to his bedroom, I saw his bed, right? And I was like, that's a fine looking bed, whatever. All it had on it was one sheet. It wasn't even like a comforter. It was like one of the fitted sheets. The pillows, yellow. No pillowcase. Pillowcase, bye. Pillowcase does not exist. Just yellow pillows. And I was like, oh God, am I gonna lay my head on that? You sleep on this like on the regular? Question mark. And you have the funds to go buy regular pillows. You just don't? Whatever. That was fine. You know what? I was like, maybe the sheets are in the wash. But I don't think he even knew how to use a wash. Now, I tried to ignore that, but things just actually kept getting worse. So then I go to take a shower, and I go to his shower, and I'm in the shower, and I look, and the only body wash that's in the shower is this hand soap from Walmart. And I was like, what is this? I was like looking around frantically, like this can't possibly be true. This has to be some sort of trick. There has to be other body wash in here. So I asked him, I'm like, hey, do you have any other body wash? And he's like, no. And I was like, what is this? And he's like, that's just the cheapest thing Walmart had. I was like, baby, this is not body wash, this is hand soap. What do you mean? You're telling me you couldn't have found a bar of Dove? Come on. What are we doing? Hand soap? And it was blue. It was literally blue hand soap. And I was like, I am not washing my cooter with this hand soap. God forbid a woman has to wash her cooter with some hand soap. So I was like, okay, water will do for now. Then, I get out of the shower. I just need a towel. I was like, do you have a towel? He's like, yo, I have these towels. And he had like the synthetic fiber towels, you know. But those shit was rank, you guys. Like, they smelled like, do you know that musty smell that things can get if you don't, like, if you leave them wet for too long? That's what it smelled like. And I was like, oh, it's fine. I don't want to steal your towel. Like, if you only have one towel, it's fine. Like, let me use one of your shirts, you know, just. And he was like, no, baby, you shouldn't have to use one of my shirts. You can use the towel. Here, it's fine. You can use the towel. I was like, thanks. You're so sweet. I was like wiping myself off and I was like, you guys, it smelled like so bad. Like mildew. Bad. I was like, I can't fix this. Like, even if I douse myself in vanilla body lotion, I'm still gonna smell like this musty towel. Okay, so that's fine. I mean, at least we're both musty now, right? Night's coming to a close. I'm going to bed. I'm doing my 10-step skincare routine. You know what this man's doing? Smoking a cigarette. That's fine. I was like, cute, like dadcore, like he has to smoke his nightly cig. I get done with my 10-step skincare routine. I go to lay in bed and he just lays right down next to me and I'm like, is this man not gonna brush his teeth? Cigarette was the toothbrush of the night, okay? Toothpaste scent tobacco. I was like, maybe that's a one-night thing. No, I never saw him brush his teeth, you guys. Oh yeah, I was like, maybe he does brush his teeth and I'm just being crazy delusional. I was like, let me just go check, let me go assess this. I go into the bathroom to see like maybe if he has a toothbrush somewhere. No toothbrush in sight. Not only is there no toothbrush, there's no toothpaste. I'm like, tooth decay is gonna be creeping in real soon, sir, if you don't start brushing. Still don't know why he didn't brush his teeth. I was too scared to ask. And then my concerns were actually validated when I talked to another girl who had a thing with him. She said she was also very concerned about the fact that she never saw him brush his teeth. So I was like, I'm no dentist, but that's kind of weird. Anyways, you guys, that's the story of the mustiest man I've ever been with in my life. Only was he musty, he was hella toxic and a liar. So if you go into a man's house and you see that they only have one fitted sheet on their bed and their pillows are yellow, I would just turn around and walk out and just know that you aren't missing out on much, okay? To all the men watching this video, please be prepared for a woman to come to your house. At least have some soap in the shower. You don't need to have a whole tampon basket set up, but at least have some soap. Jeez, that was just a silly story and a big lesson I've learned, but don't be musty, stay sexy and clean and smelling amazing, and don't mess with musty men. Bye, guys.